Hey, what is up, everyone? It is Rich. Everyone's like, what the hell? Rich, you're back. Oh, look, even my cat even chimed in already. I was wondering if she would say something. All right, so look, I'm going to do a video today. I'm going to do updates at the end of the video so that anyone that's just popping in that wants to see actually Paul Pope art and not get a big monologue at the beginning can just get right down to business. So anyway, Paul Pope solo. I initially grabbed out the solo deluxe like collected edition to do two other artists, and as I started flipping through the book, I decided to grab Paul Pope. There was a couple of reasons, but the other two artists that I was initially going to do is I was going to do Damian Scott. And then I'm a huge Tim Sale fan, so I was like, oh, maybe I should do Tim Sale instead. Then I ended up with Paul Pope. But so the reason that I picked Paul Pope was this. I actually think that Paul Pope had a very profound effect on some of the styles that we see in comics today. He's been around for a long time. I'm not 100% sure like if he popped up in like the mid 90s. I would say so. Maybe even the early 90s. And yeah, I mean, he's always been a very popular indie artist, I guess you would say. And, but, you can see some of the techniques and aesthetics that Paul uses in a lot of art that's actually pretty considered kind of mainstream now. I don't know if maybe not at Marvel or DC so much, maybe a little bit, but anyway, but yeah, like so keep an eye out for that and see if you recognize any current, popular artists that use some of these techniques. All right, so let's get to the next one. It's funny because I actually shot this video. I shot a version of this video like 5 or 6 days ago, and I kind of glossed over the credits here. And it was funny is so when I got to the last story, I kept thinking, I'm like, God, this looks so much like James Jean, and James colored it. So it was kind of like it when I noticed that I was like, oh, this is kind of stupid. So anyway, let's give credit where credit's due right out of the gate. So we've got Jose Villarrubia did the colors on the first story and letters by John Workman. Now the first time I actually was introduced to John Workman as a name was Pop Man when I was at Wildstorm. Like I was just an intern, basically about to be a pro. I was going to work there for a few months, sort of as an assistant to Alex Garner on Gen 13. But I remember Pop Man saying that his favorite letterer was John Workman, and I thought that that was really interesting because I had never considered that, you know, like who would be my favorite letterer. But anyway, all right. So we've got Dave Stewart, who's amazing on the second story. Third story, I guess, is all Paul. We'll see when we get to it. Fourth story is Villarrubia, and then James Jean. So Villarrubia, Dave Stewart, Villarrubia, James Jean. Okay, I just want to get that straight in my head. All right, so let's go. Okay, here we go. Like a little skidoodle. We don't need to stay on this too long. What was I going to say? So it's interesting. Like, some people find my channel and don't know that I'm actually a professional comic artist. More than you would believe, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's a 50-50 split, but it's not uncommon for people to go, oh, I didn't even know that you drew, or I didn't know that you were an artist, or that you were an inker, or whatever it is. But I have been in the comic business for quite a long time now. In fact, this year will be a celebration of an anniversary for me. But anyway, so when I, make comments on art, they're not criticisms, they're just observations, and I have a good eye. I can say that confidently that I know art. I can see things that I think a lot of people don't recognize in work just because I've looked. I almost have like some sort of weird like ADHD kind of thing. But anyway, so my point being is that one thing that you'll notice with Paul's work is Paul is very fearless, and it's not so easy to be rough and gritty and dirty and kind of like stand behind drawings that don't look as finished or don't look as pretty or the faces aren't perfect. And we'll see that over and over again as we go through this work. Is there's a real confidence that this is what he wants, this is what he's giving you, he's in control, and you're along for the ride. And I really respect that because it's not easy to do. I think it's funny because I think actually when I had that exact conversation in the other video was like on this, that like, you know, these faces, they're just basically sketched in and then inked with a brush, and they may have not even been, they might have been really, really loose pencil drawings that he just went in and drew with ink. It's very possible. There's nothing that hard about any of these things in terms of like structure or, you know, what's going on. But you know, like this, the bull's face is great. But yeah, it's really, really an interesting thing. And I mean, honestly, I bring it up as a point of encouragement for you that sometimes there's pressure to sort of like hit a level of quality or finish that you know, whatever you think that's what's expected of you, but you can do other things and be successful. So Paul has very distinct hands. The way that he inks them, the way that he draws them, they're very flowy with a lot of like kind of waggly lines or wavering lines, and it's very identifiable. I mean, honest to God, there's so many things in here that if you literally just showed me like maybe like these feet and this piece of whatever, his noses are very distinct too. You would recognize it as Paul's work. Like he almost doesn't need to sign it sometimes because his line is so Paul Pope. It's really, really cool. I was wondering if my fan would kick on my computer. Hopefully it's not too loud, but yeah, for whatever reason, when I run OBS, it comes on. This is really, really cool. These are nice. These like little tools here. I actually really like how he drew them. This like wrap around this screw here is really, really neat. This is cool. Nice lettering on this too. Actually, I actually like the kind of the aesthetic of it. Okay, let's see. All right, but yeah, hopefully everyone's been good. I've been really, really good. I'll do the update at the end. It's too tempting to go on a ramble. All right, so we got this. This is really interesting. So the orange or rust colored gutter, we'll call it. Oh, it's nice. I like how it pulls into this. That's always an interesting thing. You know, at some point in my career, I remember kind of being thrown by the gutters in one particular book I worked on. I can't even really think of what it was, but you know, when you work on something in black and white and then you see it finished and in color, sometimes there's surprises. I'm sure Paul and Jose, you know, had conversations about what they wanted, but yeah, it's really, really interesting. And like I've worked on books with like where the gutters are always black, and in fact on Steampunk with Chris Bacalo, we would do sometimes these like almost like tech borders, like they were steampunk kind of mechanical panel borders. So that really took actually quite a bit of time. This is a nice shot. I like how everything is framed in here. I'm a big fan of silhouette. I think my tastes have changed a lot in the last couple of years, to be honest. Like I'm a very, very different person than when you guys last knew me. A lot's changed. But yeah, it's really interesting. But like what I'm into with art, like it's all really, really quite different. I mean, there's some commonalities, but not much. I've been around it so long. Sometimes you just need to look at other things or be into other things. But this is really great. But yeah, I mean, I think the key to like a long career in art too is to just be open to checking out new things, open to new ideas. And you know, if you're in the front end of your career, then just go with your gut. I mean, you should really go with your gut at all times. To be honest, this is a great shot. Very loose. Fuck, man, it's crazy. Like, that's insane. You know, I'll share this story too, because this is really, really interesting. It was something that happened to me many years ago when I was first trying to get professional work as a penciler. So I've been inking professionally for a while. Oh, this is a great story. Build a friend. A Richard friend? No, so I had done some samples for Vertigo, and I laid out a full book. So I laid out, it was a Hellblazer story, or Constantine, something like that. And I was doing it for Will Dennis, who's was an editor at Vertigo. And I felt like I was on the cusp of being good enough to, like, actually draw professionally. And this is a long time ago. We're talking probably around 2008, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. And so I had a way that I worked up to that point. Oh, this is so cool. And this circles back to, like, Paul's work. And so I laid out the story in pencil on, like, 8.5 by 11, just like printer paper. And then I went in really fast with, like, a I call it a fat boy Sharpie, like the thick Sharpie, and then a fine point Sharpie. And I inked all 22 or 24 pages really, really fast. Like, it probably took me 30 to 40 minutes to lay out each page. And then I went through them all and inked them in, like, probably 30 minutes. And it actually looked kind of cool. But there was this part of my mind that went, this is not professional. This is not what I think I would get hired on. This needs to be refined. This almost reminds me of Adam Polina art a little bit. Not saying that Paul is influenced by him, but there's a similarity to the structure of his head and a few things. Anyway, so what I did with those layouts was then I blew them up to 11 by 17, and I tried to pencil them tight and refine everything and make it what I thought I needed to do to make it professional, better, more impressive, whatever you want to, like, call it. And they looked okay. It didn't seem to have the charm of the original pencils with marker inks that I did very spontaneously. And over the years, I occasionally will find them, and I look through them, and they still look better 20 years later than the finished things. And so the takeaway of that is, don't always believe that you have to go in and do a particular thing, because if in your mind it looks good, it is good. You have to believe in that. You don't get this shit in any other YouTube comic videos. I'm telling you. Very, very few of these people that look through books are going to give you this kind of advice. In a way, I'm the Rick Rubin of comic books. No. I was watching some Rick Rubin interviews yesterday. It made me think of that. But anyway, but it really is true. Is like if it looks good to you, then if you have the confidence to stand behind it, like a Paul Pope, it can be your style, and it may actually flourish and become something really, really great. It's going to be very unique, and it's going to be very you. You know, you don't need to go in and put a particular finish on it to have it, you know, emulate, you know, an artist that you admire, or an artist that's, you know, getting work, or an artist that's popular, whatever it is. You know, you can't stand behind it. Ugh, this is so crazy how he does these hands. These lines are so wild. But anyway, I thought it was just a random story that popped up in the other video that I had shot, and I felt like there is something to that. So hopefully that helps you. But I think Paul is a really good example of that. To be honest, I think he's a great example of it. He came up with something, and he has the confidence to do it, and you know, share it with the world. And he's been able to draw in comics now for like 30 years. It's interesting too, is like he brought in a little bit of the Kirby aesthetic to this story, but I would be really, really tempted to go like super Kirby if I was going to do this. if someone said, "Hey, do you want to do a short story with like some Jack Kirby characters?" My first thought would be, "Oh man, I have to make this look as Kirby as possible." Not copying him, but I mean, I would want like a lot of Kirby. You can kind of see like with the faces and stuff like that. He's injecting like a little bit of that, which is cool. Cool. I like that. I started reading some books a few weeks ago. I didn't stick to it, but I was making it a point to like start to read like some of the stuff that's coming out right now. Just, you know what I mean, like grab 5 or 10 random books that I might think that I would like and read them and see if it sticks. But then I got busy. It's a big commitment, honestly. You know, when I first started collecting comics, I'd go on Wednesdays, the day that new books would come out, and I'd come home and I would read, you know, for 2 or 3 hours and kind of read the ones that I wanted to read like immediately. I just don't have that free time. It's nice. Actually, I like the colors on this story. It's interesting because it's bright and it's very like literal, but it actually looks pretty cool. Like it works. I keep seeing that last James Jean page, and that looks really good too. Oh man, this is a great panel. But yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know how long like something like this, like a panel like this, takes Paul. But, you know, I mean, in theory, you could probably sketch something like this out in like an hour or two. And then if you were really like balls to the walls, you could probably ink it in like another hour, 90 minutes maybe. So, I mean, this could, my first thought when I saw it was like a 4-hour panel. But I don't know if he's fast or slow or whatever it is. But once you have your shit down, you should be able to knock stuff out pretty fast. Like I said, he's done enough stories and stuff like that I would assume he's very proficient. But who knows? I mean, everybody works differently. And some artists, it was funny, I don't remember, like it came up like the last couple of days, but I'm not a person that needs like a deadline looming over me to like fire me up. Like I more of a, you know, like I don't want to get in that position, so I work hard to not have that. But I've definitely worked around people that really wait until the last minute and then just have to fire on the jets and like crank stuff out, and it works for them. So, you know, it's difficult to say. This is cool. Let me do this really quick. I'll turn one of these. This looks like a good one to turn black and white. I just want to like give you an example of what one of these will look like close to black and white. You know what, that might be good because if I take out more of the gray, it's going to be harder to read. But you know, he has a very strong graphic read. Let's zoom out a little bit. I judge my layouts by about this size. Like I'm not as focused, although like I think most people would probably consider me like a detail guy. Composition is number one. What I'm looking for, I'm looking for a graphic read that flows and stuff like that. And yeah, so I mean, I kind of like, I don't really need to see the detail to see like the layout. This is actually like they're almost like all individual beads, like, so it's not as flowy as some panels, but that was intentional on this one. This is nice. I was wondering kind of like if he drew the lettering on this page when I saw it before. Like it's really hard to guess. I kind of think that he did, but I don't know. Not the end. And I'm not sure, like this doesn't look like that. The only one I think mainly this, like I'm kind of wondering if this was in the art. These boom booms don't look like they were. Like that looks like a letterer did it. And then this, I'm on the fence. If that, it could be because the fire is going over it. Hard to say. I don't know, friends. I don't know. All right, life-size monster ghost. I actually really like this drawing. Oh, that's a really, really cool panel right here. Damn, I like that. Sometimes it's the little things, you know? It doesn't always have to be a big monster with pipes and tubes coming out of his neck. Or creepy monsters. Oh, man. That's nice. This is really good. Oh, yeah, cornfield. Oh, man. It's pretty awesome, man. Also, you know, another thing, too, that you can always take into consideration with stuff like this is, you know, if... be sure, like, if you're checking someone's art out on a comic, I really do genuinely think that reading it and then kind of making a decision on the art is the best way to do it. I had an experience with that when I very, very first started collecting comics. And I had bought a big run of Punisher comics, like Punisher, War Journal, and the regular series, like a $1 box or a quarter box, like at my local shop. So I had like 30 or 40 of them, maybe even more. And I remember reading them, and I would get used to a particular artist on the book, and they switched quite often. So every 3 or 4 issues, sometimes it would be like a different artist. But it was like I didn't always respond to the artist that maybe technically was the best artist, but it, like, the art fit the story. And so when I would read it, I would go like, man, this has got like a mood. The Punisher looks cool. Like, and I wasn't so, like, I hate to use the word picky, but I wasn't as concerned about like little minutia that when you're just like looking at art and kind of acting like judge and jury on it. Yeah, and it was really, really interesting. And then sometimes, like, that artist would leave the book and there would be like a new artist on the book, and even if they were better, if it didn't fit the mood of the story, it didn't work for me. You know, like, someone might draw cleaner or have, you know, more rendering or whatever it was, but it had like a sterile quality and it didn't fit the mood. Then it was a little bit of a miss for me. So you never know with this stuff, you know, without reading it. It's sometimes difficult, I think, to be fully subjective. But your mileage may vary. Hey, no fighting, ladies. Jesus, it's like nothing has changed. All right. That last panel reminded me of Jazz Maynard for some reason. It's like, looks like it would be like a club or something in that. This is really cool. All right, we're getting to the last story, the James Jean Paul Pope. Ah, here we go. So this is so badass. Man, this is such a great freaking story. So this is called Teenage Sidekick. I love the colors on this. They're very, very, like, Kool-Aid intense, like, colors, but man, it looks badass. Oh, kind of goes to show too. It was interesting because I was really like, I'm a big James Jean fan, but I was really responding to this story without knowing that it was James's work, and I was just like, man, this looks really cool. It's weird. I don't know, like, if this was really, really neat. I thought that this kind of stippled effect with the application of color was really interesting. But yeah, I don't know if I'm you know, like, on paper I would have thought that this would work, but then seeing it, I'm like, God damn. And what I mean is the color choices. But And this is a good example of like reading the story. The color even makes it even better. I'm gonna let it glare on. You won't have the glare, but like the sun is shining on my computer screen right now, so I can only see like a third of the art. So, all right, we're getting towards the end here. I'll start wrapping things up. But yeah, this was fun, and I'm determined to do a video on Damien Scott because I really like his work, and there was a reason initially that I was going to do it, which I can't think of exactly right now. But anyway, so I'll finish this, and then I'll get to the catch-up update thing. Talk for a couple minutes. It's creepy Joker. So yeah, Paul Pope, really talented artist. I think pretty influential. Oh, this is great. And yeah, something that's I think this style is pretty relevant now, which is yeah, it's a testament to what Paul did. You know, he was true to himself, put it out there, stood behind it, and got the results. You know, got the results, got the respect. And, you know, ultimately, that's kind of what you want. So, be brave. Be brave, my friends. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, I like that. There was, I think I plugged it one time online. Is this an ad? Oh, no. I guess it is. That's an ad? That's fucking weird. It is. That's an ad. Wow. What I was gonna say though is there's a company that made some really good like retro screen prints, Zipatone like effects for I don't know. They're for Clip Studio, Photoshop, and stuff like that. I really like them, and they come in color schemes that are kind of retro, so it's kind of cool. And we'll look. I think there's one more page of this pulp thing. Oh, you know, I skipped a page. That's why. All right, we'll end it on this. All right, so look. It's unlikely that I'm going to come back full time and be doing videos as much as I was before. And I don't see myself being able to have time to do live shows like Super Fun Sunday and stuff like that. I didn't leave like with a plan, meaning that like it wasn't like when I stopped doing YouTube videos, I just got busy. So one weekend I was too busy to do Super Fun Sunday. And then, you know, the week started and I didn't have time to do it the following week. And then once I was out of it for a couple of weeks, I realized that I just really didn't have enough time in the day to do YouTube. I wouldn't say anymore, but as much. I always tell people this too, privately. I have the energy, there's just not the time. I'm taking a sip of coffee while I drop some knowledge. No. Yeah, if days were like 34 hours, I would have no problem squeezing in YouTube and doing Super Fun Sunday and all that. It's just not the reality. I literally can't squeeze more hours out of a day, and I don't have enough hours in the day to do everything that I'm up to and have been for the last couple of years. So it's really, I wouldn't say it sucks because I'm being super, super productive. And in fact, like, I mean, honestly, like I've had such a huge growth curve on multiple different things that I was working on over the last couple of years. It's really exciting. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't have time to do YouTube. But what I'm going to try to do is when I'm in the mood to do it, I'll do it, you know, and I'll get stuff up for you all. And, you know, but again, I just want to put it out there that it was like, I never planned on leaving YouTube. There wasn't some weird sort of thing that happened or whatever. I was keeping in touch with Kelsey for a while. And then for whatever reason, you know, neither one of us is on X or Twitter very much, I don't think. And so, I just, all of a sudden, I really couldn't get in touch with them. So it made it tricky. But, you know, I mean, I might even be able to plan something with Kelsey where we do like a pre-recorded video or something like that. So, you know, nothing's off the table and nothing, I mean, I can't say nothing bad happened because I had 2 people in my family died. And then I had 2 friends die, not all at once, but I mean, over the last 2 years. So it's like, you know, you'd start to lick your wounds after one thing happened, and then someone else would die. My dad has been sick, so there was other stuff going on, but like I'm in a great mood. I'm happy as I've ever been. Everything's going great. So other than that, I mean, it's just one of those things. And then for people asking about Blaster Kid, I am working on it. You know, I actually the last few weeks I really started to develop like a few other things for it that I had wanted to do, and yeah. So I mean, everything really is solid, but I just didn't have time to do social media or I've never like social media and YouTube to me are two different things. YouTube, I came here just as a hang. I like to hang out with artists. I like to talk with artists. I don't differentiate between professionals and fans or people that are aspiring artists. I mean, obviously, you have a limited amount of time. I can't like have 500 people direct messaging me asking me for like art critiques. But what I'm saying is like I didn't come to YouTube to like make money. I didn't come to YouTube to build like a big following. I didn't come to YouTube for any of that. The times that I've enjoyed being online in communities with parentheses, like air parentheses, is you just kind of slip into it. Like DeviantArt, when it originally started, was really fun. Although when I say it, when it first started, I wasn't like the first person at DeviantArt or even the first couple of years. It probably had been around for a little while before I joined. But anyway, but like DeviantArt was a really, really good community that was very like, it had, there was a level of privacy. I was saying this to actually a friend of mine the other day that like, although DeviantArt was a public site, it really felt kind of like a place that artists went, and you didn't have like the outside coming in to like be assholes. It was people interested in learning about art. It was people interested in photography, and it like there was, it shifted. I remember even when it started to shift, when more professionals started to come into DeviantArt, the vibe changed for sure, 100%, because then it was more about like a level of achievement, and it just wasn't, it didn't, it started to lose the sense of community, and it became like sort of like, oh well, these people are the famous people and these people are the people that are trying to learn about art. Shane Glines so preceded DeviantArt for me, and Shane Glines was another community that was public, but it really was mostly artists that were going there to learn about art. And at the time I was really at the very, very beginning of attempting to draw like more seriously. I'd been a professional inker for probably like 8 years, maybe a little less. But you know, I was like a lot of you out there that probably want to draw, but you draw like 3 things in a year. You know, it's like, well, I got the energy, or I got the focus, or I had the determination enough to finish, you know, like a drawing of whatever it is. And then, you know, you'd wait 4 or 5 months and then you would draw another thing. So I didn't have a body of work when I went there. And I started participating in the different community projects that they would have. They would be like, hey, we're going to post a piece of photo reference and everyone's going to do their interpretation of this movie still. And, so I would do stuff like that, and yeah, there was a real positive quality to it. But I've never really, like, I love the internet, but I love the internet for more like knowledge than the community aspects of it, like the social aspects of it. And it's just degraded over years. So I'm not going to talk shit about like social media, but I think most of you probably have, what would you call it, like a complicated relationship with it. So for me, you know, I'm just more about the art, and I don't like all the other stuff. So anyway, but look, I will be back. You know, maybe this will create a little momentum, and I'll, you know, want to do another video tomorrow. I really don't know, but I had a little time this morning. It's early, but I was like, you know, I'll do a video. but that's kind of how I've always done it. You'll hear me say on so many videos, and it really is genuinely true. Most of the times when I would shoot videos in the past, I never planned it. It would literally be like I'd be sitting at my desk, or I would be waking up, and I'd be like, I'm gonna look at Mike Mignola today, and I'll make a YouTube video of it. I mean, that's about as deep as my strategies go. But with that, I always do say follow your gut. So, all right, look, you guys all have a great day. I apologize that I've been gone so long, but again, there was really nothing nefarious about it. It was literally just I got too busy, and then once I wasn't doing it, I really not only realized that I didn't have time for it, but I did actually get quite a bit busier. I took on 2 really big projects that just take up a lot of time. I mean, between the 2, honestly, in a day I spent about 6 hours on that. It's not comic related, but that's a big commitment. 6 hours right in the middle of your day is like, where the fuck do you squeeze that in? So anyway, and I was already busy before that. So all right, look, you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later.